There's a lot of tea.
No, don't say T.
Okay. How about Q, R, or S?
That wasn't funny.
Welcome, everyone, to the Powderhorn Park Youth Podcast. I'm Bryce, the Spark Specialist here at Powderhorn Park, and I'm joined today by my special guest,
Daniel.
Yeah. Everybody's going wild. The crowd is losing it for Dani. Dani, can you give us your age and pronouns and a fun fact about you?
My age, I'm 14. I use he, him pronouns, and I guess a fun fact is my favorite things are my cat, my sister, and my headphones.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay, so let's go in reverse order. What makes the headphones so great?
They were $20, but they are probably the loudest headphones I've ever owned.
So it's the volume.
The volume and the quality. Like,
okay.
I've had them for about 7-8 months.
Okay.
So good.
And are they sound canceling? Do you hear anything outside?
They are sound canceling when I want them to be.
Are you saying you just have selective listening?
Yep. And if I decide I want to turn it up a little extra, that's okay.
Sure. Sorry, I didn't hear you. I had the headphones on.
Oh, no.
Did you say homework? Oh, no, I didn't. No, there's no homework.
I can't do the dishes. No. I can't hear you.
Okay. All right. And then also on that list is your sister?
My sister.
All right, tell me more.
Malali. She is so cool. I love her.
Is she older or younger?
We're twins.
You're twins?
Yup.
Have I met Malali yet?
You might have, but I doubt it.
Where is she?
She's probably on the bus right now.
Okay.
She does a lot of stuff at McCrae. I don't know if she comes here that often.
So y'all are twins and you chose in different parks? How did one end up at McCrae and one here?
So I started basketball here in 2021, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I didn't really come here. And then for 2023, I started talking with staff. And now I have Connor, who's one of my favorites. I won't say. Bryce, you're also one of my favorites. Michaela's one of my favorites. Clem is one of my favorites. Andre's one of my favorites. Liz is one of my favorites. The whole team is one of my favorites, brother. Okay? I can't.
You heard it here first, folks. I am second in command.
Wait. They can't know the real list.
Here's the thing, though. Doesn't matter which name you named in the list at the top. It's going on their review for sure. No, in a good way. Yeah. Favorite list. All right. But it's so good that you mentioned you were just kind of here playing basketball and then you started talking to staff. But now you've got kind of your own little crew that's always here together.
Connor actually stopped working here on Fridays because my little group doesn't come on Fridays anymore.
Oh, okay.
So Connor's basically our person, and then we have Bryce, who we hang out with on Thursday. Thursday.
On occasion, we'll say.
On occasion, when I'm always down to go on a Thursday.
Yeah.
But others are not always as down, and sometimes I don't feel like doing a solo road trip, so.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, it helps to have the support.
I didn't see Michaela for 8 years.
Yeah.
I love Michaela. She's so cool.
She's really great. Yeah,
Her
it's
taste.
A staff person here.
Yep.
Who was no longer working here for an extended period of time, and then found out that this is the greatest place in the world.
Came back.
All right.
And they have the best taste and everything. Shout out to Michaela.
Yeah.
I love your taste, dude. So basically, back to what I was saying. Malali started doing stuff at McCrae with her friends because they had a plant thing. It was this gardening club or something.
Sure.
And then they had a cooking club. And so they just hang out at McCrae. And so we just have our own little parks with our own little friend groups.
Nice.
And yeah.
Do you have any of those twin powers that people talk about? Like, are you able to read each other's minds, finish each other's sandwiches?
Sandwiches, no. She won't let me
Sentences.
touch. She won't let me touch any of her food. First off, second off, sentences. We don't. She doesn't like me.
Oh, what?
I love her.
So it's a one-way.
It might be.
Oh no.
I don't know if she hasn't told me she loved me in like 3 years. We'll cut that out.
Well,
hey.
okay. When's the last time you said you loved her?
Like this morning.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so that was the last time I saw her.
But Dani, you're pretty open with emotions like that. Like you are throwing out "I love you" to people. Like, I mean, not.
I literally told you I love you.
Yeah,
today.
and it's amazing. We love having you here. Like, it's just a bright, sunny atmosphere when you're entering the room, and you bring that positive energy. And I think there's a lot of people in the world who are kind of afraid of that word. They think that maybe they call it the L word. Don't use the L word.
Don't say the L word.
Right. It's only reserved for certain people or like one person or whatever. Was there something in your life that made that word more usable, user-friendly? How are you able to be so open when so many other people aren't?
For me, it's sort of just like when I can tell that I love somebody, I really like this person.
Yeah.
Like, this person's so cool. They're so nice. I literally love a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, and I just say that because, like, dude, you're so cool. You were super nice to me. You didn't need to be. I love you.
Nice.
And I don't think that there was, like, a turning point in my life where it was like, oh, I'm just going to start saying I love you to people. Like,
Yeah.
It was not that. I've been, like, a touchy-feely, like, oh, my God, type of kid my entire life.
Okay.
I'm not, like, in tune with my emotions, but, like, I understand what they are. And I understand how to feel them, sort of.
Yeah.
And so I just, like, came to the conclusion that, like, I love a lot of people.
That's awesome. I think it's amazing, and I think more people should be like that. I think that I have a similar thing, but it took me longer to get there, right? I was a little more quiet growing up. Yeah. And so when I realized, like, it's just a word, right? It's a temporary emotion, the same as hate and anger and sadness, right? It's just you love someone, and there it is, right? And there's no other, it doesn't have to come with baggage, right? It doesn't have to come with other things.
It's not like an exclusive thing.
Right. And so do you find people push back against it, or are people pretty cool with it?
A lot of the people that I hang out with are pretty cool with it, and they don't, like, push back, but they won't say I love you back to me all the time, but, like, that's whatever. I don't care. Like, I love you, but I don't care if you have to say it. Like, you don't necessarily need to. There's some people that, like, I want to hear it from, so I'm like, oh, could you please say it back? But it's not, like a necessary thing. Like, I'm not going to stab you if you don't. You know what I mean?
Do you find yourself stabbing a lot of people?
No. It's an occasional, like, run-of-the-mill, you know?
Just every now and then.
Occasionally.
Okay. Well, so we've gone through your headphones and your sister. Tell me about the cat.
I love him. We're going to have to put a picture of Smokey up on the screen.
Okay, you send me a picture of Smokey. I'll get it. Yeah.
My cat's name is Smokey. He's a great tabby. I've had him since 2020, so he's a quarantine baby.
Okay.
And he's like my baby. Like, I birthed him. I didn't even want him. So
you didn't want?
The story behind it is I was like, oh, I'm a dog person. I want a dog. Yeah. But we lived in an apartment.
Oh,
we couldn't get a dog because it's like a lot of maintenance, and then it's like we have to, like, tell the owner and whatnot, and it was just a big thing, so we couldn't get a dog. So we opted for a cat. His original name was Osiris.
Okay.
It was so cool. I almost made them keep it.
Okay.
So we got a cat, and originally I really, like, I did want stuff to do with him because he was a cat. You know what I mean? Like, that's my first pet. He is my first pet. And then the first night we took him home. We let him out. We let him explore the house. And then when it was nighttime, when it was time to go to bed, I was laying on my side like this. You don't see me. I was laying on my
Just
side.
imagine.
Imagine.
Picture, if you will, in your mind.
Picture me, 10 years old. I was laying in my bed, like, on my side. Smokey comes up, and he's laying in, like, the same position as me, but snuggled into me.
Oh.
After that, he's been my best friend. He's been, like, the greatest cat I could have ever asked for like 4 years. And so I love him. He's a little chunky now. He's a little bit chunkier, but he's still like my big baby. I love him to death and back.
And does he sleep in your bed pretty much nightly, or?
Now, no.
Okay.
Because I used to like make him. Like he used to have
You don't get a choice.
Right. You don't get an option.
Sure.
Right. But now he will like get up like periodically throughout the night because he doesn't sleep through it. So like I would have to get up at like 4 a.m, open my door, let him out. Like when I lived in the apartment, my door was always open, so he could just go in and go out and come back. But now my door is closed all the time because I live in a house and I have my own room. And so it's just not really working because I don't want to get up every 20 minutes to let him out so he can pee and eat.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of maintenance there, but still just a lovey little...
He's still my favorite. He scratches Malali the most, even though she wanted him.
Oh, okay.
She wanted him the most. My mom was just like, let's just get a cat. Because we also had like this is disclosed. We had a little bit of
Ooh.
Yep. So it was a bit of it was a bit of like my mom needed him.
Okay. I just want to point out the fact that you're like, I love you. It's a mouse, bro. It's like you don't talk about mice. No matter what you do. That's the problem.
No, because I don't know if like my mom wants that to be out, like that we had them.
Well, I think it's pretty common. I mean, not common to have mice.
It was in my apartment.
Yeah.
It wasn't a me thing.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't the one.
Yeah.
It's not in my house anymore.
Right.
Like the new house that we're in, there's no mice to be seen.
Well,
the apartments, there was like a big mouse thing.
Yeah.
So like we just got a cat because he was helping out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite a bit.
I think that's a logical solution to a problem. You get a cuddler and you get an attacker.
Yep.
Clean up some messes. There we go.
So initially, my sister wanted him like the most. And then I was like, oh, I guess we'll keep him. I was like, I guess we can have him. But now he's like my favorite, and I just love him. He's like my favorite cat ever.
That's great. That's great. I'm glad to hear it. It's nice to hear those stories of the people who don't want the animal, and then they become the best friend. I think that happens more often than not.
It does, actually. I saw like a I don't know what it was. It was a video, and it was like my dad didn't want the dog.
Yeah.
But now he's holding it every 8 seconds.
they're like wearing the same clothes. They're like eating out of the same bowl.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so we got the headphones, we got the sister, we got the cat. I want to say I think it's amazing. You went from playing basketball to hanging out, talking to the staff, hanging out with Connor, your favorite, and
hey.
But then you started coming down to the studio more often. You've been making beats. You've been writing songs.
Top secret.
Don't tell anyone about this.
No.
It's amazing. And watching the growth has been really rewarding for me, honestly.
Personally, I have a big thing about like growth and becoming different things and different people. And I think being the same thing your entire life is kind of boring.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that like growing up, like living, you can't do that without changing at least a little.
Yeah. Say more. Have you seen people that have stayed in one path and people who have changed a lot and made any observations for each?
I saw... Okay, so I've been at the same school. I promise it's going somewhere. I've been at the same school for 9 years. And you watch people grow with you. I've been with the same, like, 8, 9 people my entire life, right? Or not my entire, but for the past 9 years.
Yeah, for most of it.
The, like... viewing and watching of evolution of like your peers, like your friends, is so rewarding, as well as like yourself. Also, I think about this like often. Like if I had been in like another class, another school, I would have turned out so much differently.
Yeah, sure.
Than like how I am now. Yeah. Right? And if I had grown up with if my friend maybe didn't get into school, or if my other friend didn't, or all of them didn't get into school and it was replaced with a bunch of new people. I just think about that so often, that like evolution is something that's so randomized. Like, you don't get a say or a choice in how you change and grow, but it happens. And, like, I shouldn't say you don't get any, but you get some the more you grow.
Yeah.
It's like when you grow into, like, picking out your own clothes when you go shopping, right? It's kind of like, now that I'm older, I get to choose, like, what food I get at certain restaurants or, like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, like, evolution and growing as, like, a person is so important to me because I don't want to stay the same person forever. So
yeah, that's great. I mean, you just keep growing and learning. And with each new experience, you get another idea for the brain to go on to the next one, and you become a well-rounded individual. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself applying for a job, and they look at your resume and they go, "Holy smokes, you can do all of these things?
Right.
We're going to pay you more than anybody else."
Also, like, you can't do anything other than grow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you... Like, you're really, really trying real hard if you're staying the same forever.
Right.
And I think that's, like, I have no problem with, like, structure and routine.
Right.
I have problem with, boom. Like,
sort of stationary mindset, right? Static, unmoving, unchanging. And you're still changing even when you refuse to change.
Right.
But you're just fighting against the universe.
I think it's such a crazy thing to do, to fight that change, because you wouldn't be a human if we didn't change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we'd still be...
You'd be an infant.
Right.
For your whole life.
You'd be, like, in your mom's stomach for your entire life. Yeah. And if your mom didn't change, you wouldn't be alive. And if, like, things like that, you know, and, like... We could even get to, like, if we never evolved from, like, fish or monkey, whatever it is, I don't remember.
Dark matter.
Right. If the universe never exploded from that singular point, nothing.
That's really poignant. We always start off these podcast episodes thinking, oh, I'm just going to have a chat. And now you're blowing my mind with philosophical meanderings, and I'm going to have a long think now.
I could tell you about, like, 80 other things that I think about constantly.
I think it's fantastic. Please do. What are the top 80 things? Ready, go. You have 10 seconds.
I think about how nothing matters.
Ugh, existential in here.
Okay, that's like a bad way to phrase it. It's not that nothing matters. It's just that matter in and of itself is a social construct. So in and of that self, there's literally, like, you can care for something, you can matter for it, right? Yeah. But it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just in my brain. And I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. You ever watch that?
Okay, yes. And you didn't...
Jobu Tupaki.
Yeah.
It's in the back of my mind all the time.
Change your life, huh?
Not really. I don't know about changed my life, but I watched it maybe 2 weeks ago. Okay. And it kind of shifted my perspective because before I thought that, like, things mattered very much because you give it matter. And that's true in a sense, but when you think about it, like, in the grand scheme of things, not a lot of our stuff matters because we're like...
Just a grain of sand.
Right, we're like a grain of sand in the infinite universe. You know what I mean? So that's why I try to take, like, before when we were talking about I love you, the word doesn't really matter.
Sure.
We gave it matter, and then because I'm like this tiny itty bitty bit of dust in like a great big bowl of, like, sand.
Yeah.
Doesn't... and I'm only gonna be... it doesn't, like...
You're right, though. Like, there's so much going on. I think I align with this because, like, it does matter, but it doesn't. It can lift someone's day, it can brighten their spirits. But at the end of the day, if you're putting a lot of energy into something that isn't serving you...
I love when you just said energy because I have a big thing about that, okay? I saw, like, a TikTok the other day, and it was like, let me tell you something I hate, and it was, like, a bunch of, like, LGBTQ flags, and I was like, hey, you're putting your energy into the wrong thing.
Yes.
Because in the grand scheme of things, nothing matters, so when you put bad energy into something that already doesn't matter and is not affecting you,
right,
it's pointless and it's a waste of your time.
Yeah.
Like, you could be putting your energy into helping solve the environmental crisis that's going on right now.
Right.
Or helping fund people in Palestine to get out. But instead, I hate that they're kissing. I hate that there's two men kissing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand it.
It's a small problem.
Like,
and it's not even a problem.
Right. Like, I'm straight, but I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't affect you.
I can't say much because, like, it is, like, an aspect of it is, like, where you were raised and what you grew up around.
Yeah, sure.
And my mom is not conservative in the slightest, and she doesn't care, like, what I do, who I am, because I'm just her son. But, like, if I were to have been grown up, like, Christian or something, I think I still wouldn't.
Yeah, it'd be hard to see where you would be.
Yeah,
right?
The change thing, the evolution thing.
Yeah.
I would be a totally different person if I grew up Catholic or something like that. But
Absolutely.
I think it's just, like, the wrong place to put your energy. And even if I don't agree with something, I'll spend, like, 2 seconds on it. I'll be like, why do people think like that?
Yeah.
Then I'm over it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't concern me.
Right.
That's what I don't get about homophobic people is that, like, you're not kissing them.
Right.
You don't have to do anything with them, actually. You can avoid them, tell them you're avoiding them, but you don't need to, like, shun them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's, like, a huge thing that I, like, dislike about people that put, like, a lot of energy into hating or like negating somebody in their, like, personhood. It's so unnecessary.
There's a lot of energy towards what you don't like. What do you like? Tell us more about what you want.
Putting your energy towards the stuff that doesn't matter and won't affect you ever is very stupid. In layman's terms, it's dumb.
Right on. In the sphere around Dani, what's the thing that is the biggest hurdle right now? Or if you want to go bigger, what's the biggest hurdle in the world?
There's probably over half of the population is probably, like, homeless and without food right now. And we are giving millions upon billions of dollars to kill a lot of people. And I think it's just... That's why I hate living here. I can't stand it.
If you had the power, just an imaginary world, it's all up to Dani, what would you say to someone who is currently withholding that money? And what would you say to the person who needs it?
I don't know what I would tell them, but that's also a problem is that I want to be rich one day, but then inevitably I become part of that problem.
Sure.
I become part of the people that, like, God forbid I become part of the 1%. I will. Right. Somebody will hurt me. If it's not me, it's my mom, okay?
Do you think there's a world where both things could happen?
Where
you could get rich and also help the people in need?
I think that's possible. But I think that in the world we live in, that's so incredibly hard. Not per se to sell out, but to, like, not accidentally or purposely give your money and your time and your, like, education to something that's not for the best. And also, if something I think is good, probably somebody else doesn't think is good.
Sure.
So in the, like, grand scheme of things. I hate saying that. I hate saying that phrase.
I like that there's a character every single time.
I hate it.
Grand scheme of things. So really, there's not a whole lot we could do, but we can try to spread that positive energy in directions that hopefully the people who are receiving that energy are maybe spreading it onwards as well, sort of paying it forward, right?
I guess so.
Maybe.
I hope so.
Or we just cross our fingers and hope for the best.
You can't see it, but I am.
So how would you help someone learn to look outside as you've done and try something new and experience something new so that they can maybe see things in a new way?
I'm going to say something. Yeah. I would love to take, like, a cute gap year and go somewhere.
Okay.
You know, go to, like, Spain, go to France, go to, like, I don't want to be stereotypical, but go somewhere in Africa. You know what I mean? Figure out the different ways people are living, right? Okay. And that's another thing. I love taking, like, different opinions, different sides, different views, different values, because then I can get a fuller picture.
Yeah.
Like, the people that, like, for the Gaza thing, the people that are like, oh, but it's helping the U.S., like, we're getting so much money off of it, but we're also killing, like, hundreds of people, and I can't. That's why I'm not going to the army. You're not going to see me there.
Yeah.
I think it's just, like, find opinions, find views, find perspectives from, like, different people, different cultures, different ideologically, like, diverse people.
Yeah.
And then you could make a census from there.
There we go.
There you go.
The answer to life and everything in the universe.
You have to get... Oh, my God! I just told you that the answer to life is to get other people's opinions. No, be true to yourself, but in the same sense, don't be true to yourself in a way that would hurt another.
Nice. Well said. Well said. Thank you so much, Dani, for coming out to the podcast. We finally did it. We tried to get you on here for a while, and we've done it. And the crowd is going wild. And there's actually a crowd outside the window now cheering for us.
There we go.
So it looks like we got our next episode lined up.
Yeah.
Let's call this one complete. For those of you listening, the Powderhorn Podcast is 4 to 6 p.m. on Wednesdays here at Powderhorn Park. As long as the interest is still around and the availability is here, we'll keep doing it.
Sure.
Thank you so much for coming on, Dani.
Yeah.
And the rest of you, have a great rest of your day and go.
Wait, can I say something?
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
And for the viewers at home, I hate that I said viewers. I love you too.